my brothers against the president. I'm defending them against the mayor. I'm defending them against the state's attorney. I'm one man trying to speak for every man and woman in the Baltimore Police Department who was just punched in the face today. I've buried detectives, I've buried officers, and what she said this morning opened up all those caskets and just spit on all of them. It was a disgrace that anybody who laid down their life for this city had to be subjected to what she said this morning.
You know, as we still go over this case, one question remains, and that is, how did this severing of his spinal cord with his neck happen? How did the injury occur? The prosecutor suggests it happened in the van. What are the cops there saying happened?
There's no other information that I would have be privy to that it didn't happen in the van. And at no time would anybody ever say that anybody took liberties on Mr. Gray in that van. The injuries that Mr. Gray sustained were due to his own hand or his own actions. There was no one responsible for those injuries except for Mr. Gray. If the worst thing our officers did was fail to seatbelt a combative prisoner, then so be it. But to make that jump from unseatbelted prisoner to second-degree murder is absurd.
Now, you have obviously been involved in the, how many years have you been, well, I don't want to ask you that, that might give away your identity. But you've been on the job for a significant period of time. You know the statutes for second-degree murder. You know the statutes as it relates to manslaughter. You know what is noted for these. For example, second-degree murder, you need to show a depraved heart. The elements for involuntary manslaughter, you have to show that somebody acted in a grossly negligent manner. The only thing I heard from the prosecutor today is that the police did not put the seatbelt on and may have not given medical attention in a timely fashion. I didn't hear any other evidence. Do you know what she's basing these very, very significant charges on then?
I'm very familiar with the standard that we have to meet to charge somebody with homicide. If you were to go to the homicide unit and look in the file cabinets or on the detective's desk, there are 80 cases that can be closed today if the prosecutor or Miss Mosby would choose to charge them. She wants justice when it's convenient for her. She could care less about justice to the dozens upon dozens of mothers that she refuses to charge in cases that are exponentially stronger than this case.
So you believe that she basically did this today to appease a crowd of people that were loud?
Definitely.
Yeah.
For political reasons and to avoid, further riots and looting, she sacrificed 6 officers who were doing their job that Sunday morning to appease a mob and political friends and political donors and her husband.
When did the police realize Freddie was in physical trouble? Because there were 4 separate stops. When did they realize he was in trouble?
En route, when the wagon man started to transport Mr. Freddie to CBIF, there was an initial call that he needed units to respond to assist him with an uncooperative prisoner in the back of the van.
So in other words, they stopped the van. So in other words, one of the stops, at least 1 or 2 of the stops, were because he was being irate in the back of the van, which kind of corroborated the first story of the other prisoner, right?
Correct.
Okay.
The wagon man requested a unit to help him since he was by himself to try to, see what was going on in the back of the van.
Did the mayor of your city tell you officers on Monday to stand down?
From what I heard from everybody and from what I heard on the radio, there was under no circumstances were we not to engage anybody doing anything. It was people over property, let them do what they want, give them as much property as they want, just don't engage.
Where the police...
What they said to one of your reporters the other day. If they start fighting you, we can't help you to avoid a riot. That was direct from a commander.
Are police talking among themselves that maybe they're not in a position to do their jobs if they're going to be prosecuted? Has that come up?
That's something about police. Regardless of the circumstances, regardless how much this breaks your heart, regardless of how the community that you protect and serve on a daily basis, where you've been injured, where you've had friends killed, where you've been away from your family, but you continue to dedicate yourself themselves to that. These officers will do their job. They will, during the speech by Miss Mosby, no one would even think about talking about a double homicide that occurred on the other side of town. But,
Yeah.
Officers will, suit up, go to that homicide. You'll go down the steps, and you'll see officers putting on their ride gear to go stand out there at Pennsylvania North amongst that crowd being called murderers and spit upon for the next 10 hours. But they'll go and do it because that's their job.
So let me go
They
back.
sacrifice themselves every day, above and beyond, every day.
Let me go back to the toxicology report. You said the preliminary report